Right, so I've made lots of videos about this guitar, Suhr Alt T. I think it's an Alt T Pro, 2016 model. This was the guitar that I thought I was going to be using for pretty much everything, and that's what I was looking for. I wanted a guitar that I could, an electric guitar I could just use for pretty much everything I do. And this one was great. It's perfect in every way except for two things, for me anyway. The two things, I've talked about this on other videos, one is the neck. Feel of the neck is absolutely lovely, and it's really smooth finish on it. It's really nice, but the actual neck profile is a tiny bit bigger than I'd like, and I'm just comparing it to other guitars that I've got and other guitars I've had, and it's just a little bit of a handful, and I think it feels like it's too wide that way for me. It just doesn't quite feel as comfortable as it should. Everything else about the guitar is superb. The machine heads, they're locking, they work perfectly. I think they're a bit bulky, and I think if I was going to keep this guitar, I'd probably change those and put on some vintage Gotos or something. But they work really well. And the only other thing is standard Telecaster type body, and not having that bit there that you get on a Strat for your ribs. I just find that annoying with this guitar. Stupid, because I've got other guitars like this, which needs restringing at the moment, the Maybach, that hasn't got the cutaway, or not cutaway, you know, it hasn't got the bit for your ribs. But I don't notice it with that guitar, and for some reason with this one I do. I'm not sure why. So that's the only thing. So I've been through a few other guitars. I've got G&L, I've got another PRS, and wasn't really happy with any of them completely. So what I've ended up with is this, another PRS DGT. Now, as soon as I took this out of the case, I realised the neck was going to be great for me. The neck just fits my hand perfectly. It's just a great neck. So the neck does for me what this one doesn't, so that's good. This has got everything else that this has got. It's got two humbuckers, and they're splittable, which they sort of are on this guitar. And I should point out on this Suhr, one of the most amazing things about this guitar is the pickups, Thornbuckers. They are absolutely brilliant. I love the pickups on this guitar. So this has got everything. It's got the shaped body. It's incredibly comfortable. In terms of the weight, I mean, just holding them like this, I think if I put them on scales, the Suhr is probably going to be slightly lighter, but just holding them like this, it doesn't feel any different. So I deliberately bought this because it was a lightweight one. So what I want to do now is plug them both in and just see if the PRS stands up to the Suhr in terms of the sound. I mean, people rave about these DGTs. They rave about these Alt Ts as well. But this was perfect for me, this Suhr. In terms of sound, I cannot fault it. It's just one of the best sounding guitars I've ever heard. It's absolutely brilliant. It's the most versatile guitar I've ever played. So can this replace it? Now, to be honest, it's going to replace it anyway because of the neck thing. But I just thought I'd be interested, and hopefully some of you might be interested, to see whether this can sound as good as that plugged in. So I'm going to do that now, plug it in, and just play through some basic sounds, like a basic clean kind of sound, slightly breaking up sound, maybe a heavier Marshall-y sort of overdrive sound as well. Right, so I've got the PRS plugged in. Now, one thing that I think may happen is I think these pickups on the PRS are possibly slightly higher output than the Thornbuckers on the Suhr. So I'm going to play the same thing on each guitar with the same sound on the Strymon Iridium. But what I will do is I'll do the PRS ones twice. First with the volume up full, and then with the volume on about 8. Whereas with the Suhr, I'm just going to leave the volume up full to begin with. Now I'm switching to both pickups together, both humbuckers. Now for this setting, the PRS has a slight advantage because it's got a volume control for each pickup, so you can blend them. So what I'm going to do here is play the Suhr on that setting, volume up full, and then I'll get the PRS and I'm going to see if I can get close to the sound of the Suhr, because I know that I love the sound of this one already. So I'm going to see if the PRS will sound like this one on this particular setting. So talking of splitting the pickups, I'm now going to try one of my favourite sounds, probably my favourite sound on this guitar, which is the neck humbucker split, and then I'm going to do the same on the PRS. Try rolling the volume off a little bit. Now to my ears, just listening to it as I'm playing it, the PRS does get close, but it actually sounds more like a single coil to me than the Suhr does. But the Suhr neck split sound is just brilliant. I think that is, I don't think this guitar will do it as well as that. For me, you know, for my taste. It's not that this doesn't sound as much like a split humbucker or a single coil. It's just that I think that's the better sound. But then I haven't had this guitar long. It's going to take some getting used to playing around with the tones. But the Suhr is a real hard act to follow. Anyway, I'm just going to switch to a slightly heavier sound to see how they compare in that way. Another one of my favourite sounds on the Suhr is the third position here, which I think is both pickups split. So I'm going to see if the PRS will come close to this. Okay, so again, I haven't listened back to this obviously yet, but my conclusion just from playing them and hearing it as I'm playing is that Suhr is irreplaceable in terms of the sounds. It's such a brilliant sounding guitar, and it's got something of the sort of Telecaster about it. I mean, it's a Telecaster shape. It's a thin line Tele shape or body style, and it's got the maple neck, bolt-on neck. That's all going to make it different to this. You know, how would this sound like that? It's just not going to, is it? It's mahogany. I think that's ash body. This one's got the rosewood neck. It's glued, you know, set neck. That's a different scale length, slightly longer scale length on that, I think. And yeah, it's good. It's not going to sound the same, but it's all about the you know, the sounds, and can I get the sounds I like from this guitar? This is a brilliant guitar, and if I hadn't been comparing it to that, I would say no other guitar could come close to the sounds of this. But that Suhr is unbeatable for me for the sounds. If I could have a guitar that felt like this to play and to hold, but had those sounds, that would be the ultimate for me. But this is great, and this is quite new, and or for me anyway, and I haven't had it very long. I'm just getting used to it. Does sound superb, and I think mixing the two pickups, blending the sounds of the two pickups, is a great feature on this, and that should enable me to get every sound that I want, really. So this is a great guitar. I like everything about this more than the Suhr for me, except that Tele characteristic. This hasn't got, and why would it have? You know, you're not going to expect this guitar to do anything like a Tele, although they do say that this pickup on the split mode is supposed to be quite like a Tele. That's what they were going for. But yeah, this doesn't do that Tele thing like the Suhr does. Although this guitar does the Tele thing probably better than both of them, so I don't need that. And overall, the sounds of the Suhr, I prefer them, if I'm being honest. Maybe I could put some thornbuckers in this, but I don't think that would help particularly. I think it's the construction of the guitar that makes this sound so different to that Suhr. Anyway, it's an interesting experiment. This is the one I'll be keeping out of these two, you know, just because for me this neck is pretty much perfect. Have you got either of these guitars? Have you got an opinion on which one you think sounds best? I suppose it's sort of personal taste, really. Anyway, thanks for watching.